These 9 brutal turning points show exactly how the Nazis built the camp system into a continent-wide engine of extermination, and why understanding them could stop history from repeating. Number 9. Crisis to dictatorship. Germany in the early 1930s was reeling from World War I and the Great Depression. Hitler became Chancellor in January 1933, and within weeks, the Reichstag Fire became the excuse to crush civil rights. Protective custody meant people could be locked away forever with no trial. Why this matters? It normalized lawless detention, letting the regime disappear thousands and test the first gears of its camp machine. Number 8. Dachau becomes the blueprint. Opened in March 1933 outside Munich and announced by Heinrich Himmler, Dachau was sold as temporary. Under Theodor Eicke, it became a model of terror. Prisoners were reduced to numbers, starved, beaten, and worked to exhaustion. Guards were trained to show no mercy. Why this matters? Dachau created the rules, the training, and the mindset that would be copied across the entire system. Number 7. The target list explodes. By 1936, the Nazis had wiped out political opposition and turned their sights on people they labeled outsiders. Jews, Roma, disabled people, homosexuals, and Jehovah's Witnesses were criminalized for who they were. The Nuremberg Laws stripped Jews of citizenship. The Gestapo could detain anyone indefinitely. Why this matters? The state rewrote the law to turn prejudice into policy, paving the way to mass incarceration with almost no public resistance. Number 6. Scaling up with Sachsenhausen and Buchenwald. New camps near Berlin and Weimar were designed for control and efficiency, with watchtowers covering everything. They became hubs for administration and for forced labor. The SS partnered with companies to use prisoners in quarries, factories, and construction. Why this matters? Camps evolved from punishment into an economic engine, feeding Germany's war efforts by exploiting human beings as disposable tools. Number 5. War and the rise of Auschwitz. The invasion of Poland in 1939 put millions under Nazi rule. Auschwitz opened in 1940 near Auschwitz. At first, it held political prisoners and enforced labor. Its location, rail lines, and space made it perfect to expand. Why this matters? Auschwitz started as a concentration camp, then grew into the most infamous symbol of a killing system that would reach across Europe. Number 4. Aktion T4 and the gas chambers. Beginning in 1939, disabled children and adults in Germany were murdered in facilities that used gas chambers disguised as showers. Doctors and officials learned logistics for mass killing and built expertise in concealment. Why this matters? T4 was a shocking rehearsal. It provided the methods, the personnel, and the deception tactics later used to murder on an even larger scale. Number 3. Barbarossa and the killing squads. In 1941, the invasion of the Soviet Union unleashed extreme brutality. Millions of Soviet prisoners of war died from starvation and disease. Einsatzgruppen mobile killing units followed the army and shot entire communities into pits. Why this matters? Mass shootings murdered hundreds of thousands, but they were slow and psychologically devastating for shooters. The regime searched for methods that were faster and more impersonal. Number 2. The Wannsee Conference finalizes the plan. On the 20th of January 1942, Reinhard gathered officials near Berlin. They coordinated the final solution, counting roughly 11 million Jews across Europe as targets. Bureaucrats aligned rail schedules, deportations, and camp administration. Why this matters? Genocide was turned into paperwork. The state organized murder as a continental project with chilling efficiency. Number 1. Operation Reinhard and industrialized murder. Treblinka, Sobibor, and Belzec were built in occupied Poland for one purpose: to kill. Trains arrived packed with people from ghettos and from countries across Europe. Luggage was seized. Families were separated. Gas chambers disguised as showers used carbon monoxide from engines. In Auschwitz-Birkenau, Zyklon B pellets released lethal gas. Prisoners forced into Sonderkommando units, removed bodies, harvested belongings, and fed crematoria. The scale is staggering. Treblinka killed up to 900,000 in about a year. Belzec around 430,000. Sobibor around 170,000. Auschwitz over 1 million. Why this matters? This is the core of the Holocaust. A system engineered to erase people with terrifying speed and precision. Here is the takeaway. The camp machine did not appear overnight. It evolved step by step, from emergency decrees to Dachau's rules, from racist laws to forced labor, from T4 experiments to mobile shootings, from a conference table to gas chambers. Even in the darkest places, there were sparks of defiance, uprisings at Sobibor and Treblinka, prisoners sabotaging crematoria at Auschwitz. As the Allies advanced in 1944 and 1945, the Nazis forced death marches, then tried to bulldoze evidence. Yet Majdanek was captured largely intact. Auschwitz was liberated with thousands barely alive. Buchenwald and Bergen-Belsen exposed starvation and disease to the world. After the war, the Nuremberg trials put leaders in the dock and established crimes against humanity, though many perpetrators hid for decades. Remember these 9 turning points. They show how a modern state can turn cruelty into routine and why vigilance, truth, and accountability are the only antidotes to history repeating.